Hi, and welcome to the second episode of Just Good Games. Right, first things first, I'd just like to thank everyone for their massive support of the YouTube channel so far, for subscribing to the YouTube channel, for liking the first video, for watching the first video, and for following us on Instagram and Facebook. It is vastly appreciated. Right, it is the hottest day of the year, so I'm going to make this quick. Before we go on our next step on our journey on Just Good Games, I believe it is vital for you to get to know me and what games I like. So I've put together a list of my 10 favourite games. They are in no particular order. I'm more focusing on why I like the games as opposed to facts about the games, and I've tried to keep each entry to about 2 minutes. So hopefully you will enjoy them. So let's get started. Right, so we start where it all began, Super Mario 64. Right, now I did have a Sega Mega Drive before I had a Nintendo 64, and I did enjoy all like Sonic, Altered Beast and that, but one Christmas morning when I came downstairs and I opened up my Nintendo 64, I had Super Mario 64 and Zelda Ocarina of Time. The first one I put in was Mario 64, and it just blew my mind as a little kid. I could not believe the transition from 2D to 3D. It was just unbelievable. I must have spent like half an hour just on that main menu messing with Mario's face. And then when the game kicked in, I spent all Christmas Day just playing it, collecting stars, going through levels, just unlocking everything. It is an unbelievable game, an amazing game. It set the 3D benchmark for ages and only has really been surpassed maybe a few times since, like Galaxy probably and Odyssey in the Mario realm, but besides them two, I don't think it's really been surpassed. For me, it probably is, besides maybe Ocarina of Time, the ultimate Nintendo game. So Mario 64 had to be in my top 10. And now we go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum with the newest game on this list, God of War on the PlayStation 4. What a game. I am a massive fan of the original trilogy, and when this was announced I was pleased, but I was like, do we really need another God of War game, as the spin-offs weren't as good as the original trilogy, but this surpassed my expectations. That axe is one of the greatest weapons in gaming history. It is unbelievable, the Thor's hammer of video games. And it's not just the axe, it's just every part of this game fits together perfectly. Gameplay, the story, the soundtrack, the emotion. It's just unbelievable. There are some big moments in this game, from uncovering the Blades of Chaos, to revealing to Atreus that you are a god, the meeting the stranger for the first time. It's just unbelievable. It sets it up nicely for the next one, which should, and I know this is difficult to say, should it be even better than this one? It is set up for an amazing new trilogy. I can't wait for the next one. But we're not talking about the next one at the moment. We're talking about this one. And I platinum trophied this game. So I went through everything. I collected everything. I did the Valkyrie fights, which are on like Dark Souls level of difficulty. Especially that last one. They took some goes, I tell you that. But they are amazing. So there you have it. God of War, PlayStation 4. I didn't need to tell you about this game, because you already know how good it is. The Metal Gear Solid series is going to come up a lot in these videos, and my favourite Metal Gear Solid game is Metal Gear Solid 3. For me, it just has the best story out of all the games. It's not overly complicated. It's obviously a prequel to the main series and shows how Naked Snake became Big Boss. And speaking of bosses, the boss battles in this game, like all the Metal Gear Solid series, are absolutely amazing. The standouts, as you probably know, are the battle against the end, the battle against the boss at the end, and your like skirmishes with Revolver Ocelot. I think the reason I like this game a lot more than the first two is that the gameplay shows a real like step up in quality from the original two. And although the gameplay has got better in 4 and 5, I think the story is just better in number 3. It just has those big Metal Gear Solid standout moments like climbing that ladder, and it just has this James Bond feel to it. The opening song and the opening credits are just so Bond, it's unbelievable. And as a massive fan of the James Bond series, you can see the influences which Kojima has taken and put in this game. It's just like the perfect balance of the Kojima madness and like the technical espionage stealth aspect of it. Like before the Metal Gear Solid games, I was never a massive fan of the stealth games, but I played these games in a really weird order actually. I played like number 4 first and then went back and played 1, 2 and 3, and so they just made me love stealth games and love like the whole Hideo Kojima weirdness, and number 3 is just the perfect one. So that is why it had to be on this list. Speaking of weirdness, this brings me on to my next game, Nier Automata. This game, if you probably put a gun to my head and said, what is your favourite game in this top 10 list? This would be it. It is just so unique, and I love unique games. There is just nothing out there like this. The fact that it has 24 endings, which can be like triggered at any point. There was like an event happening and I was like, oh, I'll just go and walk over here. And it was like, you have got ending T. You left at this precise moment. And it was just awesome. You have to play through it 3 times to get the proper ending. And then the end credits are a game within itself. It has the obviously awesome Platinum Games style gameplay, which they perfected in Bayonetta. Probably not as deep as the gameplay in Bayonetta, but still amazing. You like it changes genre on like a whim. You'll be having like a battle in your ship, then it will suddenly turn to like a top-down view game. Then you'll be in the hack and slash mode of the Platinum Games thing. It is just amazing. The story is awesome as well, and it makes you like question the existence of life and all that. It is absolutely amazing. I cannot recommend this game highly enough. Go and buy it now. Another absolutely unique game on this list is Persona 5. Now, I had never played a Persona game until I got Persona 5, and I was absolutely blown away by this. Usually, I'm not into the turn-based style combat, which is actually why I've never got into a Final Fantasy game. But the turn-based combat in this game is absolutely amazing and works so well. Funnily enough, though, it is actually not the combat, which is really the best bit in this game. It's actually like your school life in it. You're a student at a school, and between doing the main missions, you have to manage your day-to-day life by meeting your friends and going out and doing activities. And this in turn helps you build up the level of these relationships, which gives you better monsters when you go into doing the main missions. Not that the main missions aren't amazing either. There's about 6 or 7 like mind palaces they're called in this, and I'm not going to explain why they're mind palaces, as we need a whole nother video like to go into the ins and outs of this game. But the creatures are just awesome. This is almost like a more adult Pokemon, I would say. You have your creatures and they have their special abilities, and you can swap them in and out and you can capture them. It is just absolutely amazing. Again, I recommend this game highly, and it had to be on this list. Uncharted 2. I love this game. I love Indiana Jones, so I love Uncharted. The whole treasure hunter thing is absolutely amazing. To be honest, I could have made a case for any of the Uncharted games being here, maybe besides 1, because 3 and 4 are awesome as well, and the spin-off is also awesome, even though it's a bit short. But number 2 just took everything which was great in number 1 and just turns it up to 11. The opening in that train is just one of the best openings to a game I have ever experienced. The how did I get here moment and the like skin of your teeth escape from that train are absolutely awesome. And then the whole like 11 I think chapters of flashback to how you got into that situation is awesome. The intensity just ramps up and up and up until you reach that situation, and then you're back at the start. It is absolutely awesome. Drake is a fantastic character. Sully is my favourite character in the series. He is an absolute fantastic character as well. Chloe is awesome. She's actually probably my favourite female character in the games. She does have that Lara Croft vibe, which I think they were obviously going for that. And it is just awesome. The gameplay is tight. The online mode, I actually played quite a bit in this, and I thoroughly enjoyed that as well, which is something I never delve into too much. So it must have a good online multiplayer if I actually got addicted to it. Ultimately, Uncharted 2 is like the ultimate swashbuckling action adventure game, which puts you in the shoes of pretty much Indiana Jones, so it had to be on this list. Mass Effect 2. I love sci-fi, and for me this is the ultimate science fiction space game. I got number 1 for Christmas on like an off chance and didn't really know much about it, but after playing that I was hooked, and number 2 just improves on it in every single way. The combat is now more refined and it verges more towards an action RPG than the original, which was definitely a true RPG. The space exploration on this is amazing, and just the whole story and the way it builds to that one suicide mission at the end, and everything you do contributes to that. The loyalty missions, like all the dialogue choices, it all contributes to how that final mission goes down, where you can lose anyone in the process of doing that mission. The characters are just so amazing and memorable. Like Garrus is my boy, and I had him on pretty much every mission through number 1, 2 and 3. The voice cast is also amazing in this. Like Martin Sheen as the elusive man is amazing. That opening mission is amazing. I'm saying amazing a lot. This is just science fiction gaming done right. I wish there was a Star Wars game as good as this. I know Knights of the Old Republic was cool, but there's no Star Wars game where you can go out and explore and have a tight combat like this. This is the ultimate science fiction game, and this is why it has to be on my top 10 list. Halo 3 is probably the game on this list which I spent the most time playing. I got addicted to that online multiplayer and haven't really got addicted to an online multiplayer since, because Halo 3 was so good. I used to get home from school, put Halo 3 in and play with all my friends. That was how good it was. We used to like create maps, custom games, then we used to take it against other people. There was double XP weekends, there was Oddball, which was amazing. A lot of the stuff which is in multiplayer games now, I just feel came from Halo 3 and COD 4, which came out at the same time. Those two I just rinsed on the multiplayer. And the story, finishing the fight with Master Chief was absolutely amazing. That last mission in the Warthog, I played a co-op with my brother. He was the Arbiter, I was Master Chief, and we just stormed that. It was absolutely awesome game. Also, the mission where you get to take on the 2 Scarabs at the same time is awesome. It's just a campaign full of absolutely amazing, high-octane moments. Love Halo 3. Also, I just think some of the weapons in this game are actually iconic gaming weapons, like the energy sword and the needler. That sniper rifle is so cool. The pistol, the weapons just are awesome. So Halo 3 just had to be on this list. It is probably one of the reasons I got an Xbox 360. And to be honest, I need to show Microsoft a bit of love on this list, as I have a lot of Nintendo exclusives and a lot of PlayStation exclusives. And to be honest, the Xbox 360 is one of my favourite consoles of all time, so I had to have one of their games on here. Like Metal Gear Solid, there is going to be a lot of Kingdom Hearts included on my lists and just mentioned in general. And my favourite of the Kingdom Hearts games is most definitely Kingdom Hearts 2. The reason Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best Kingdom Hearts game, and hence included on this list, is it just has the best Disney worlds. It has a Lion King world and a Mulan world, and they are 2 of my favourite Disney films, so obviously if they're included in the game, it's probably going to be one of my favourite games. The combat in this game is just vastly superior to number 1 and was a massive step up. The drive forms are great, and also like the new special moves which were introduced when you press triangle in a specific situation are amazing as well. Also, they overhauled the magic system from number 1, and the magic system is much better in this game. This Kingdom Hearts also has the best post-game content, with obviously a battle against Sephiroth, the arenas at Olympus, and also the data battles, which I know are added in 2.5 Remix, but that is the version I played, so I am going to include it. It just has so much more to do after you finish the game, which is actually what number 3 was lacking probably, but there is DLC, so we'll see about that later. Although this one is where the story starts to get a little overly complicated, and the opening with Roxas is really good, but not having played any of the spin-offs before this, it was a bit confusing, and not realising who the organisation is to start off with can also be a bit confusing. But with Kingdom Hearts, you either just love it and embrace it, or you hate it, and luckily I love it. So Kingdom Hearts, one of the best gaming series ever, and obviously the best game in that series has to be in my list. The final game on my list is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I know the footage is from the Wii U version, but this will become apparent later on in the video why I've done this. Now, I know I said earlier in the video that the ultimate Nintendo games are Super Mario 64 and Zelda: The Ocarina of Time, and I do stand by that. But my favourite Zelda game is actually The Wind Waker. I think I was just a bit too young for Ocarina of Time and never finished it. And so when the GameCube came out and I got Wind Waker, I absolutely loved it. It was almost like my first proper Zelda game. Now, the version I got came with Ocarina of Time in some deluxe package version which had a gold cover. And I did go on to complete Ocarina of Time at a later date, but this was the first Zelda game which I played through properly, and it's probably one of the reasons why it is my favourite. I think it has some of the best dungeons in a Zelda game, like Dragon Roost Island and the Tower of the Gods. I believe it has some of the best characters in the Zelda games. I love Tetra, I love the Grandma in it. I think the version of Ganon in this is really cool. I also like how it has little nods to the rest of the series in it, like the Great Dooku Tree is sort of in it. And if you know your Zelda timelines, you know it comes off one of the branches from Ocarina of Time. It is just an absolutely awesome game, although the fortress at the start with the stealth section is probably not the best. Once you get past that, it is absolutely amazing. Now, the reason I have footage from the Wii U version is I actually believe that the Wii U version is the definitive version of this game, as the changes they made in it make it even better, like removing the whole quest to find the 8 Triforce bits actually makes this game so much better. And this will be the first in-depth analysis which we look at on Just Good Games, which should hopefully be out in a couple weeks. So obviously, this is my favourite Zelda game, one of my favourite Nintendo games. It had to be on the list. So there you have it. Those are my 10 favourite games of all time. So, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, and comment in the comments section. Also, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and thank you for watching. Also, look out for a couple little videos, maybe reviews, coming out in the next couple of weeks. And also in the next couple of weeks, look out for our big, in-depth analysis of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, the Wii U version. Thanks again for watching. I have been Louis, and this has been Just Good Games.